So I'm already in my virtual environment. I'm going to fire up Jupyter Notebook. It's going to start the Jupyter Notebook server, and that's going to open Jupyter Notebook within my browser. So let me drag that over here so you can see it. Here's the instance of it. And this is the same directory structure, same folder structure that exists where I originally launched Jupyter Notebook from. So in other words, if I was in this data science folder when I did it, then it would show within the data science folder. But obviously, I'm in my home folder inside of Linux, so that's why you're seeing all these things. So let's dive in. Let me get rid of this. This is an old one. We don't need that anymore. So let's dive in and take a look at this. It's a really quick, really easy to use tool. And let me show you how to do this and what the concept of a notebook is and all that stuff. So the first thing I want to do is I want to find a place to put my notebook. When you create this notebook, you go here to New and you actually create a notebook. It's going to make a physical file. And the reason that's important is because you can actually share that physical file. You can use it in Google Colab. You can use it in other versions of Jupyter Notebook. You can use it in Jupyter Lab. You can convert it to Python files. All kinds of cool stuff. You can convert it to markdown files if you're sticking it in a portfolio or something like that. So that's really important to understand. That's the importance of using Jupyter Notebook because of the concept of an actual notebook itself. So I'm going to go into data science here. This is my virtual environment, DS1. So I'm not going to create this in there, right? I'm going to actually, let's make a new folder and let's just call this, let's call this test 1. Okay. And inside of that folder, I'm going to go there. I'm going to go to new and I'm going to go to Python 3. Now that's going to open a new tab in my browser. Let's get this a little bit bigger for you. There we go. So you can see what's going on. And you can see the first thing that you see here is sort of this one slot. Well, this is a Python, an instance of your Python interpreter. So I can actually run Python right inside of this little window. And when I run that cell, that's what that's called, I'm going to get immediate output of that Python command. Excellent, right? So you can see if we're in something like data science or data analytics, it's very iterative, and we want to get some immediate feedback on things like, correlation, or we're building a visualization, or we need to see what features we're trying to winnow down for a machine learning model. We need to get immediate feedback. We're not building all this information in a file, in a Python file, outside in an IDE all in one spot and then running it at the end like you would do if you were sort of doing this for software engineering. Okay? So there's some other really cool things about Jupyter Notebook you need to know. There are two different sort of two different modes or methods for these cells. One is the command that you're actually in now, anytime it's in that, you can see it looks exactly the same. You got trash over here. You got add a cell up or below. You can move your cursor up or down if you want to, and you can create a duplicate of the cell itself. This is how you'll probably start out, is just using some of these things, but eventually you're going to get tired of doing that, and you're going to want to learn about how do I switch between command mode and edit mode, right? So this is command mode right now. You can see the cell is highlighted in blue. I've got the icons over here. It's ready for some type of Python to be entered and run, okay? And when I enter this, I can hit Shift Enter, and Python will run that cell. Notebook will run that Python cell, and I'll get some sort of output. But what if I don't want Python in this? What if I'm actually building a notebook and I wanted this to be something like introduction, right? What if I wanted it to actually be a heading? Well, if I run that, obviously that's not Python, right? So it has no idea what to do about that. But I can change this cell. And in order for me to do that, I need to go into edit mode. And I don't have to do this on a cell that I've already done something with. Cells by default, when you click on them, are already in command mode and they're ready to run. But to get to edit mode, you just hit escape on your actual keyboard. So when I get here and I hit escape, you can see that I'm ready to shift over to my different commands. So as I was saying, edit mode allows us to change the type of content that goes in this window. So if I go here and I hit escape, I can hit M for markdown. I can hit C for code if I want to. You can notice it's in markdown here. I can also go back here to change the code. Notice code has a bracket by it. And when I hit M, because I'm in edit mode, the bracket goes away. Now if I run this, now it'll just interpret text. If I go back to this, it'll run it as Python. Okay, so you've got some different things here. You've got markdown, you've got raw, which is just the raw text that's in it itself. But a lot of times you might want to go in and, pretty this up. It'll take most of your HTML styling if you want to. You can even add CSS files to it if you want to and really get it pretty looking. If you want, but it's a good way for you to sort of stand off and divide your sections up, right? So what I'll do is I'll come in here and I'll say, all right, well, I might have a project description, and then I might have another one under it, and that has the project description in it, and then I might come down here and I'll say, okay, well, in this particular one, I actually want my imports section to start, right? I don't have to bold it. My import section to start, and then I can go in and start my imports, right? And then in data science, what you can do is you can separate each of these sections by every single thing that you're doing in data science. So you might have your import section, you might have your ingestion section, then you might have your pre-processing or data cleaning, and then you might have your EDA section. After that, you might go into feature selection after that. And it's good to just use markdown, right, to divide these sections up. So last but not least, a couple of other quick shortcuts for you. If you're in edit mode and you want to add something below it, just hit B as many times as you want. Now I'm still in edit mode. If I want to delete, I hit D twice and it starts deleting those. If I want to put a cell above, I'm still in edit mode. I can hit A and that starts putting cells above. I can do select of multiple cells with shift and up and down. I can shift and M with and merge cells. I can save the notebook. It doesn't auto save for you every few minutes, and that's adjustable, so you don't really need to mess with that too much. If as long as I'm in edit mode, I can do X for cut. I can do C for copy. I can do V for paste, your typical cut, copy, and paste commands. I can do Control End to move the cursor to the end of the cell. I can do Shift V to paste Jupyter cells below. All of those things will come with time. What you're going to be worried with right here at the very beginning is sort of how do I get out of the gate and get this working, right? And you're going to start out with sort of just one single cell. And if I change this back over to code here, this and run it. You can use these, right? You can insert a cell above, you can insert a cell below, you can trash the cell, you can move this cell up in the order, and you can create a duplicate of this cell down. Okay, so that is Jupyter Notebook. So let's look what's going on in the background. Before I do that, let me go ahead and title this. I called it Test 1. Notice it's got a physical extension on it. IPython Notebook is what that's called. So I'm going to rename it. So now if I go back over here and I look inside of data science, I've got my Test 1 folder. Remember, I made that inside of Jupyter Notebook. And then inside of there, I've got my physical file. So, and remember, all this is sitting inside of a virtual environment that the server is running in. This is not in a virtual environment because I started a new terminal, but I'm accessing the virtual environment in here. So, Test 1 Notebook, I can do anything I want to do with that now after I save it. I can share it with someone. Like I said, if I've got a requirements file that goes with the virtual environment, I can move it to another machine. And as long as I've got the notebook, the physical notebook file, I can recreate that virtual environment and literally start up the same, Jupyter Notebook, just like the one that is sitting here. So it makes it a very, very easy way for you to share your work. Also, something that's really neat inside of Jupyter Notebook, you've got different ways to handle these notebooks at the end. You can save them in different formats if you want. You can download it. You can export them as docs, HTML files, LaTeX files, markdowns, entire PDFs. You've got a lot of different things that you can do. So imagine if you're a newbie and you're building a portfolio and you want to take this Jupyter Notebook and save it as an HTML file, or maybe you're sticking it out on a Git pages or something like that, and you need it in Markdown, or maybe you're going to send it as an example to an employer in a PDF. All these things can, because it's a notebook, can come right out of Jupyter Notebook. So anyway, that's a fantastic tool to start out with. We're going to be using this for most of our project work on the channel until we get out of data science and data analytics. So I hope you enjoyed this particular set of videos, and I'll see you again soon.